Do you have what we call chart blindness? Maybe you're a new trader, a longer term trader, or an investor, and you have discovered candlesticks and you put your stocks or your ETFs on a chart, a daily chart or a weekly chart. Then you put moving averages on. Next, you put on the MACD, then the stochastics. Then I love this one, the parabolic stops. And then suddenly you can't tell up from down, down from up. Not a good thing. No, it is vertigo, a case of vertigo. Isn't good for a pilot, and it's certainly not good for a trader, and it's not good for an investor. Also, maybe you have that friend. You connect with him on the weekend for the golf, and on the first tee, he starts giving you tips, because he has that boutique broker. Now, he's not going to tell you everything that boutique broker that only he has, because, see, he has a special relationship. He has more money than you. He has more brains than you. And he only wants to give you a little bit. And he tells you some things like, I own dividend stocks. I own crypto. Cash is trash, he will say. I love that one. He might also say, I'm not a day trader, God forbid. I'm an investor. Nobody can do day trading in a pejorative way. Do you have that guy in your life? Would you like to get rid of the charts? Would you like to get rid of him? Let me explain something, folks. I am Bagadon at Stock Market Caddy, and I am proudly the most ignorant person in the market. And before you turn off, let me explain. I make an assumption every day that everyone else in the market, including you, that you are much smarter than me, and you most certainly probably are, that you know much more about the market than me. I know nothing. You see, I do not want to have a bias. I want to be able to move left or right. I am not looking for a story or a narrative. I am not looking for that so-called expert. Some 20 years ago, after teaching surgeons how to do surgery for some 20 years, my wife and I, Susan, built this tool, one of now 70 tools, and we call this the SMC Swing Machine Plus. This tool that you're about to see is a decision-making trade assist software. It helps you make decisions. Very different. Those charts are not going to make those decisions. Your friend on the golf course is not going to help you make those decisions. And that boutique broker, by the way, let me just digress a moment. Those boutique brokers who told you that cash was trash and that you can't trade intraday or daily and that nobody can do it. Let's think for a moment. If I buy an option for just an hour or two, it costs me very little. If I want to buy an option on a stock that goes out a year, it's going to cost me a lot. Why is that? A lot can happen. A lot more can happen between just a couple of hours and a year from now. If it was any easier to project and manage money a year from now, then those options wouldn't be more money. What is easier for that boutique broker is for them to meet with you once a year. Sit down, have a nice chat, talk about the world, talk about a bunch of nothing, and then get your money and kick your ass out the door and then they go to the mall or they go to the golf course. We do not here make specific recommendations to buy or sell anything. We're not here to manage your money. I'm not soliciting monies to manage. Nope. We are a mentoring site. This product, SMC Swing Machine Plus, is not for sale. None of them are. We have over 70 of them. We lease them. Why? Before you can use any of these tools, more valuable than Swing Machine Plus, as good as it is, but more valuable, is the education and the insight on how to use them up front during what we call the Q School and also throughout the year. You see, markets change. Those folks that came into the market when the market was in a bull phase and were buying, are now not doing so good. And if you've just come into the market and you're shorting, and you're doing well, good for you. But understand this market will change. And how are you going to know? You don't want to be giving it back. We want to advance. So let me show you a couple of things. First, let's go to the boutique broker and let's plug in what he recommended a year ago, FedEx. Now, he may have told you a year ago during that little consultation you had with that boutique broker, he said, FedEx, what a great company. You know, it's a great economy. It's a great company. They ship. We're expanding. You said, yeah, let's put $10,000 into FedEx. And on top of that, a year ago, FedEx is going to pay you a dividend, 2.93%. Ooh, that looked good, right? That looked real good. All right, so let's take it now. Now let's change it from a hourly to a weekly view. FedEx is trading at 156. Swing Machine said to get short 57 weeks ago. Now, we're talking, this video is for the investors. So let's assume you didn't short it, but you own FedEx. Maybe you even owned it before. Maybe you recommended it even longer ago. But 57 weeks ago, Swing Machine could have told you, did tell you, at $255.22, the price, at 4 p.m., almost a year, and the trend is down, by the way, you could have questioned that decision by your broker. Maybe you just decided to sell out, or maybe you didn't get in. If you didn't put your $10,000 in there, you'd saved yourself a $38.50 loss, because this, if you went long a year ago, when Swing Machine said to get short, you'd be down that amount of money. If you speculated, of course, you'd be up. Now, you may say, well, I don't really want to trade. Well, if you're diversified in your knowledge, maybe you could have used Swing Machine Plus to call your broker and say, you know, we own FedEx at $255. You didn't have to tell them Swing Machine, but you can say, you know, I'm not feeling so good about it right now. Maybe I need to get a put option on that. And if you had done that and insured, you'd still have that value. Now, you might be saying, well, Bagger, it doesn't matter. Remember the golfing buddy on the golf course? You know, I'm getting a dividend. I'm getting 2.93%, and it don't matter. All right, well, let's just examine that for a moment. First, that 2.93% dividend may have looked real good last year when the yield on the 2-year Treasury was 0.25, right? Tina, there's no other place. The yield today on a 2-year Treasury, which has no risk of default because it's a U.S. Treasury, is paying 4%. So that paltry dividend doesn't look so good. And it doesn't look so good to the management on FedEx. But let's just assume that FedEx doesn't go down. Now that's any further. Now that's a big assumption because it might still keep going down. And let's assume it doesn't go up. Let's just keep it right there. One of the things that happens is when you go down a stock nearly 50%, this is down 40. When you go down 50%, you've got to get 100% return to get back to even. But we're assuming that it doesn't go down any further and it doesn't go up. Huge assumption. And you're going to get that dividend. And it's not going to change. Do you know how long it's going to take you at 2.93% to get back to where your original investment was? Over 20 years. 20 years. All right. Maybe that broker told your golfing buddy, well, you know something, I'm not just in stocks, I'm hedged. I'm in bonds. So when the stocks go down, the bonds will go up. Oh, okay. TLT is an ETF for bonds, weekly. TLT 1 year ago was trading at, not even, January 7th of this year, not even a year ago, was trading at 142. It's also down 30 or 40%. It's down too. Not so good. What other things have you heard over the last few years from your buddy? How about crypto? Oh, he saves that one for about the fourth or fifth hole, and he just slips on. Yeah, I own Bitcoin. You know, it's like $80,000 a coin. It's going to go to 500,000. And all of a sudden, you know, you yank a ball to the left or the right because you're like, oh my God, how come he didn't tell me about, you know, Bitcoin? So let's put in GBTC. This is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, who, by the way, is the biggest advertiser on CNBC, the pump and dump crowd. Yep, they're the biggest advertiser. They've been pumping that. So check this out. Let's put the Bitcoin on a weekly basis. And let's say a year ago, after playing golf with your buddy, and he said to buy, well, not even, back in January, you know, put $10,000 into Bitcoin. And you decide, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get in there. Well, Bitcoin went short at $30.74. If you had shorted it, you would have got a return of 63%. If you bought it, you're down 63%. How about maybe he was one of the apes? He's aping AMC. Now, I never really did get this one. I don't know why anybody would have wanted to own a movie theater company. I mean, it's not exactly, you know, groundbreaking technology, and especially following a pandemic. I'm not really that interested in going to a movie for a new type of popcorn, but these guys thought maybe they were going to get in on the ground floor when the pandemic was over, and they're going to buy a movie theater business, right? That's in essence what you're doing. You're buying a business. Well, we got it on a weekly. A monthly would even been even worse. But Swing Machine could have saved you of your $10,000. If you shorted it 41 weeks ago, you would have got a 73% return. If you bought it back in January off their tip from whomever, your buddy, you'd be down 73%. The meme. How about, well, GameStop? That was going to be a big one. Those guys called themselves the apes. This one, GameStop, weekly. This one's just 7 weeks ago. So you could have made 10% or saved yourself 10%. On a monthly basis, GameStop, we were out of this months before. How about the next one I love? Gold. Gotta own gold. You got the guy who goes, you know, he'll tell you on the 8th hole, the 10th hole, yeah, well, I'm not in stocks, I'm not in bonds, and I'm not in crypto. I'm in gold. You know, I own gold. Oh, okay. So let's plug in gold. Oh, we got to change that to a weekly. We don't want to be day traders or intraday traders. No, you can't do that. Lovey, you know. Remember those? Oh, I may be dating myself. It was Gilligan's Island. All right. GLD, gold, the gold trust. 17 weeks ago, said to get out at 170. To get out, don't be long. Could have saved yourself 10%. So gold is hung up. It's not down as much. And then the last one. And you might be saying, yeah, but everything's down. You know, you can't feel bad. You know, I got my boutique broker and, you know, he tells me you got to invest for the long term. There's no place to hide. Everything's gone down. Don't worry about it. You know, Joe Bag of Donuts, you know, don't worry about it. It'll come back. I love that one. It'll come back. Okay. There's no place to hide, right? How about, and then he said, you know, you couldn't stay in cash, because cash is trash. They were saying that last year. Oh yeah? This is the dollar. ETF. UUP. And we're going to change this to a weekly. It's up. 57 weeks ago. 57 weeks ago, if you had sold all your stock, your FedEx, your bonds, your AMC, your GameStop, even your gold, and you went to cash, and then you purchased the UUP, the cash ETF 57 weeks ago, you would be up. This is on $10,000, but it's $2,100, 21%. Swing Machine is decision-making software. We are not a tip sheet. I am not going to tell you what to do with your money. I'm not going to tell you how or what to think. I make these videos to make you think. Think about what it is you're doing. Think about what you're going to do in the future. Susan and I did in 2001 and 2002 because we had just come off an experience that you might be going through now for the first time. I've been involved in these markets since 1981. Yes, I'm a student of economics and all of that, but I don't invest or trade based on any of it. I come at this from the standpoint that people that are in the market with a lot more money than me, with a lot more smarts than me, with a lot more insight than me, no one person, I'm going to look at the money flow collectively, and Susan and I build tools, and Swing Machine is one of them, to track the money flow. We cannot control what the market does. It is true. It will go up and it will go down. And sometimes it'll just stay the same. From 1966 to 1982, the market went no place. The only people who made money were the traders. And if we get into one of those markets, the only people making money are going to be the traders and certainly our members. More valuable than any one of these individual tools, because as I mentioned earlier, they're not for sale individually. We want to make sure that we impart to you the education on how to use them. And you need to be patient and disciplined. We cannot control the market, but you do have control over what you do. If you want to buy and sell based on tips from your buddies, based on tips or whatever from CNBC, and you want to do that haphazardly, then you're going to have haphazard results. I hope they're good for you, but they may not be. They could be very bad, and you could impact not just your own life, but the life of your partner, the life of your family. These individual systems are systems, but we're trying to teach and support. We teach up front and then on an ongoing basis a systematic approach. But we won't make the decisions for you. You will need to make the decisions. In the quiet of your office on a Saturday morning, you could have Swing Machine Plus our other tools and plug in whatever you want. I think by the way, if you want to call me, I'll spend the time with you. If you're still listening, we'll plug it in. We'll do it live on Zoom. And we'll put in your stocks. It's probably going to make you puke. You can continue to do the same thing, or you can decide to make a change. It's never too late. If you're sitting on losses, that money's gone. And if you're thinking that, well, if I don't sell it, it's not a loss, that's not true. Try to get a loan on your portfolio when it's down. They're not going to give you a loan based on where your money was. It's gone. And it could go lower. If you find yourself thinking or saying, or your broker, it's too late, or it'll come back, I wish you the best. You're welcome to call 813-758-8263. I'm going to be out working around my home, sweeping leaves, right up there with painting. And if you call and you want to patch up Zoom with me, I'll do it. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Weekends, weekdays, even holidays. You want to talk about the markets? You want to talk about how these tools might be able to help you and what we're prepared to do to help you get that education and get underway? I'll talk with you. Good luck, everybody.